All right, shalom and good afternoon, boys. Here, well, what I want to talk about. Ah, I talk to people, and a lot of people they will have questions, whether it's about land or gardening or livestock, and it's a good thing to reach out to people that are actually doing it because, sharing that information can save you a whole lot of time, energy, and effort when it comes to ensuring that you don't make mistakes because mistakes are costly. There's a way that you have to tend to sheep, and it's different than from goats, even though they're both ruminants. Uh, there's a way to tend to pasture. There's a way to tend to a greenhouse. There's a way to tend to a well. So all of these things, uh, if you know someone that has it, learn from them as much as you can and ask as many questions so that you can avoid any pitfalls because mistakes are costly. But I wanted to talk about was two things. Number one was repoed cabins as well as tracts of land. Now, first, when it comes to tracts of land, you see a lot of advertisements in a lot of different states advertising that you can get, 5 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres, 20-acre tracts. You can get it for $99 down or $199 down, and it's owner financing and have your piece of prosperity and country living today, right? Basically, that's how all of the advertisements go. And what happens is, basically what, some developer, what he'll do is that they won't develop the land. Or at best they'll cut out some roads or whatnot. But the individual properties, it could be uh, full of trees. It can be, and typically they are full of trees. They it's wooded lands that they are selling. Typically, that's what it is. Um, sure, can you buy tracts of land where it's open grass and open fields? Yeah, I did so myself. But typically, these tracts of land are undeveloped land. They have no sewage on them. They have no plumbing. They have not even any electricity. The electricity at best may be on the road, if not no electricity at all. Um, and they're selling these tracts for owner financing, no credit, no background credit check, and you can go ahead and finance this land. And it's the same with the cabins because I purchased two repo cabins, and I'm gonna tell you why because it was a great deal. I'll explain why. So, they're selling these tracts of land, but little do the people that, and this is what goes back to your own due diligence and independent research to make sure that you're researching as much as possible what you're getting into before you buy land, whether it's 199 down or whether you're paying for it outright, right? Um, they're betting on and they're banking on people that's going to finance this land, right? Come in, develop it, clean it out a little bit, then for whatever reason, because this is what happens, the people don't want to finish the property or got second thoughts about it, and so they just walked away from the property. And what happens is, of course, that goes back to the owners of those tracks. But in addition to that, you don't get any money back. It ain't like you get money back. You know what I'm saying? So if you said, you was gonna buy this and you've been making, payments of $300, $400, $500, $700. Same with the cabins. And I'll get into the cabins for a second. But you don't get any of that money back. You see, they keep that money. And that's why it's so lucrative for these tracks that you're seeing being sold, because people need to understand when you're buying one of these tracks, you better make sure not only that, you can pay for the land itself, whether it's 30, 40, $50,000, whatever they're selling at $199 down and $400 a month, whatever it is, owner finance they're offering. In addition to that, you want to ensure that uh, you have enough money for any septic that you want to put in, any well that need to be drilled, any water lines that need to be run, any fences that need to be put up, any roads that need to be carved in, any areas that need to be flattened out. All of that stuff is expense to you. It's an expense to you. And you better make sure before you go ahead and buy such a land that you know what you're doing with it, because there's a lot of people out there that's selling these tracts of land, but they know the default rates. The information is out there, it's readily available. Same with the cabins. What's happening is that, but because see, the price of lumber is going up. And it's been going up significantly. So therefore, the prices of the cabins are going up as well. So again, the same thing. People will buy a cabin, right? I'm gonna, sheetrock it, insulate it, this and third, and let me tell you, there's one thing I would never do. Now that I know going forward in a cabin in terms of what type of material you should be hanging in there. But the idea is this: they get this stuff, right? And then there's a certain percentage of people that will default, that it will fall in a repo. But by then, they may have put up drywall, they may have insulated, they may have ran electrical, they may have put up some sheetrock, they may have partially done it. Where, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, all of the only thing that the financing company, same deal with the land. All they do is they just take repossession back of the cabin that you repoed. All of that work, they don't reimburse you. They're not like, you know what I'm saying, hey, XYZ123, you did electrical out here and you put in all of the outlets. Oh, we're gonna reimburse you. No, that's all a loss, just like the land. It is a 100% loss to the consumer. And see, the reason why people buy these things, right, is because they know that a lot of people don't have the money to put down. I'm working in another house. Same kind of scenario. The guys, they're taking the house, they're fixing up the house just a little bit or whatever, and then they sell it for owner financing. And if the person goes in there and they're working on it and they're doing new floors and kitchen cabinets and so forth and so on or whatever, but then something happens, right? They default. And I think the default is like, you have a right to default or take repossession after like 90 days of non-payments. You know what I'm saying? The person can default, the owner of the cabin, whatever, they come and they just get the cabin. Or they default. They can just reclaim the property. But you don't get anything back when it comes to all of that work that you did in there. And they take it and they resell it and they same financing deal to the next person. I get calls all the time from one of these spots, especially with the tornado that took place downtown in the one of the cities that's closest to me, or one of the townships that's closest to me. But the idea is that, hey, I got this repo, I got this repo, I got this repo. It's because people are not taken into consideration, or something came up. It could have been a combination of those things, but the repo the repo rates are high. They're high amongst tracts of land. They're high amongst these cabins. You see? So this is why it's such a good business to be into, because from a cabin maker's perspective, all they're interested in is making the interest. All of this deal is finance. They got their money. All they're doing is interested in getting the interest. And if you finance one of these things, right? Let's say with the cabin, you know what I'm saying? The cabin may be, now I've been seeing cabins now, finished out cabins, right? Going for $35,000 now. You're looking at cabins now. You can finance a 16 by 40, which is like the standard largest cabin that they can like produce. I mean, they can produce larger, but that's the standard largest cabin. It's a 16 by 40, and you can turn around and finance that thing for $488. Now, to finance the same cabin will probably run $800. So you got to think about it. Not only are you financing this thing because you're making the monthly payments, The monthly payments over time with the interest, you're paying twice, if not more, for the cabin. And you got to invest in putting up the insulation, putting up the sheetrock, running the electrical, putting down the floors, partitioning, all of that stuff, kitchen, cabinet, all that stuff. Whatever you're going to do, you know what I'm saying? AC unit. And all that stuff individually costs money, let alone if you got to pay somebody to do it. And so a lot of people don't take these things into consideration when it comes to buying tracts of land or buying these repo cabins. Your best bet, if you're going to get a cabin, get it repoed and pay it off quick. Buy it straight out. That's the best way that you can do it, because you're getting the benefits of whatever somebody else did in there, whether they ran the electrical and they did all of that stuff. They put up sheetrock, they partitioned or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But in addition to that, you get all those benefits but the same repo price, because they don't charge more because it's a repo, you see? So that's the game when it comes to cabins. Purchasing these cabins, is best to just build something, you know what I'm saying, yourself. But if you're going to buy one, buy a repo one. They're cheaper, and they may have some more stuff done in it. If you're going to buy a tract of land, make sure that you have the full budget of what you're doing. People that buy this stuff, if they're intelligent, they know, you know what I'm saying, that all of this stuff can be done. And so everything is budgeted out. You know what I'm saying? They have a clear game plan to get it done. But if you don't, you could be stuck with, you know what I'm saying, investing in some property that you can't get rid of or you can't move. Or you got a cabin, you know what I'm saying, that you can't complete and you ain't got the money for whatever reason, whatever happened, it get repoed. These are things that you got to take in consideration. Be wise before you invest in these things. Cabins and repos, pitfalls, land tracts of land, pitfalls, know them.